Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Football Fignuts podcast. This is Season 6, Episode 34. Altogether, it's 273 episodes. I'm Craig.
And Britt is coughing.
And Britt is coughing because the air quality here is terrible.
Oh my god.
Terrible. Three digits terrible.
So for folks who have no idea how we do this, Craig counts us down, and then whoever has the open does their opening. So literally, Craig goes 3, 2, 1, and I start to cough like a madman, like as if he was cueing my coughing. Oh my god, that's so embarrassing. All right, I gotta go off mic for a second just to clear my throat. Go for it. Lead us out, Craig. Do us.
So we're back again, despite the terrible air quality. For those who don't know, we are in the Northeast in Connecticut, and we have been getting a ton of smoke from the wildfires in Canada.
Yes, much love to our friends up in Nova Scotia. I have some friends that live up that way, and it's been a scary time for them. It's been a scary time, and my friends up there are actually they live outside of Halifax in a country area, and one of the things they do financially is tap maple trees. Well, if the maple trees burn to the ground, there ain't going to be no maple syrup this year. So
it's a valid point.
You know, in addition to the fact that people are losing their homes, fortunately, to the best of my knowledge, there haven't been any deaths associated with this. Everyone's accounted for. The authorities there have done a great job in making sure everyone is safe, but it is a very bad situation. So our thoughts go out to all the folks in Nova Scotia who are affected by the fires, because we're now affected by the fires too. As Craig mentioned, our air quality has been brutally bad the last 3 or 4 days. So
it's been orange outside. Not as bad as New York City. We were a close second.
Their air quality index got up over 300 yesterday.
Yeah,
like at one point, 300. So for folks who don't know what that means, the lower the number is better. 50 or below is considered healthy. 300 basically means you're waiting for birds to drop from the sky. So
yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, no. I mean, 300 is like almost like untenable for life. So, I mean, that's my biggest concern now. I mean, obviously we're all inside and people are aware what's going on, but we have no idea what kind of long-term impact this is going to have on our trees.
Yeah.
You know, are the trees going to bounce back from this? Are all the trees going to die at the end of the summer? We have no idea. So, well, on that happy note, dead trees and all, Craig, what are you drinking tonight?
So tonight I only have a can of seltzer because, I kind of just feel like crap because of the weather, the air. So, yeah, that's what I got, sadly.
It does. It really... The combination of the poor air quality, and for those of us who have respiratory issues, I know Craig does, I do, we're both also very saddled with allergies. This is a tough time. But I am actually going to treat myself to one beer tonight, and I have a can of Coastal Evacuation from Cape May Brewing Company, which Excellent. I'm trying to open on cue here, and I just can't get the pull tab up. Hold on. Oh, God, oh, God.
Oh, no. Did it explode?
No, but I let all the gas, so I didn't get a good popping sound out of it. Like instead of getting I got a click.
Oh.
So, yeah, hashtag sad. But Coastal Evacuation is a double IPA. It is probably their flagship of their double IPA. Yeah, and it's good stuff. I'm almost out of beer from Jersey, I gotta be honest.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I shared a lot of it. I bring a lot back for...
That's true. I'm still upset we can't get beer.
Beer?
Beer brewing.
Bear.
Sorry, bear. English is a dumb language, folks. I'm sorry.
You could just say, I'm upset I can't get bear brewing up here. That's easier to do. I mean,
that's true.
Well, we'll hope. Hopefully, Jenny will take care of that. Jenny will make that happen, and we'll get that. I'm just excited because I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but this is around the time of year my coworker makes their pilgrimage up to the Lake George area.
Oh.
Which means some Northway might be making its way down to us. She says to me the other day, if we go to Northway, she goes, we're definitely going to go to that brewery. We loved that brewery. We like the stuff that you brought us from there. We like the stuff we had there. We're definitely going back there. Why don't you make a list of things and I'll see what I can bring back? And I just said Avenue of the Pines. And she goes, well, I know Avenue of the Pines, but what else? I said, well, get some Avenue of the Pines and then get some more Avenue of the Pines. She goes, okay, anything else? I'm like, oh yeah, while you're there, pick up Avenue of the Pines. So hopefully we have some Avenue of the Pines winging our way in about a month or so.
Oh, good.
But,
Good.
all right, let's just jump right into it. Do we have burning hot takes this week?
Really the biggest, I think the biggest burning hot take this week concerning football is where Dalvin Cook is going to wind up.
Yeah.
But I mean, we can just talk about that. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, so that'll be the only thing that's it. I mean, I really don't have any other burning hot takes. We're going to talk about the AFC East and the NFC East a little bit today. But yeah, I mean, that's the big news today is that Dalvin Cook was cut officially today. Where does he go? What does it mean for Alexander Mattison? Let's start with the beginning. Craig, where's he going to end up?
Well, the first spot happens to be the Dolphins.
And supposedly he's from that area.
He's from Miami. I think he went to school there. So that right now, everyone thinks that's the first option. The second option is the Bills, but I can't see that only because the Bills already have 4 starting running backs. So
and Dalvin Cook did go to Florida State.
Oh, that's right. Yep. So
where does he live? Is there?
He probably still has a house there, assuming.
Yeah, I mean the Broncos are listed. The Broncos and Dolphins, according to NFL.com, are the best landing spots for them. Listen,
and then the outlier would be like the Bears and the Cardinals.
So those 4 teams call, in theory. You're Dalvin Cook. Where are you going to go? Because I know where I'm going. I'm not asking about terms. I'm going to Miami.
I'm going to Miami because I mean,
best chance of the ring.
Out of those teams,
yes.
More than the Bills, huh?
Well, they were not in the 4 teams we just listed. We said Broncos, Dolphins, Bears.
I said Bills. You said Broncos.
Oh, Bills. Okay, so Bills, Bears, Broncos, and Dolphins are the 4.
Right.
Yeah, you could go to the Bills, but the Bills are so deep. The Bills aren't going to look at him as needed. I don't think the Bills are going to come calling. I really don't. But the Dolphins will, and I think that becomes a game changer in the AFC East if it happens. It adds more consistency to an offense. The biggest problem with the Dolphin offense last year was inconsistency, and a lot of that was attributable to the injuries to Tua. I mean, we after that first concussion, Tua should never have been allowed back on the field so quickly. We know that now. And that led to a second concussion. And now everyone's going to look at him on every hit and wonder if he's going to get back up or he's going to sit up and go, I'm Batman. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen there. But I think if they can keep him relatively healthy, Dalvin Cook adds more stability than they had last year. Now, again, can Dalvin Cook stay healthy?
That's another question. Yeah, maybe.
Did he? How many?
He's gonna go. He's gonna go from playing in a dome to playing outside if he goes to Miami,
which is a change.
Outside, which is a big change, especially for a running back. So I don't.
Now he did play all 17 games this past season,
but did he finish all 17 games?
Well, he played 17 games. He only had, I'm saying only in quotes, 1,173 yards. Okay, his lowest yards per game since 2018, and when he was in his second year and he wasn't the feature back yet, he only averaged 69 yards a game. And there's 2 reasons I bring that up. So games played, 17 games last year. The year before, he missed 3 games. The year before that, he missed 2 games. In 2019, he missed 2 games. And in 2018, the year that he had the worst yards per game of his career, he missed 6 games. 5. Sorry, he missed 5. So last year is literally the only year of his entire career where he's played all 17 games. And I'm looking to see where's his touches. And he posted his second lowest. In a full season, he touched the ball less last year than the 2 years that one of the 2 years he played only 14 games. And his yardage per game were down across all of those. So the years he was injured and missed some games. All right, so in 2018, he only played 11 games and he only averaged 12.1 yards a game, but he wasn't the starter then. other than that, he averaged 81.1 yards in 2019, missed 2 games. Averaged 111 in 2020, missed 2 games. Averaged 89.2 in 2021 when he missed 3 games. Last year, only 69 yards per game. Is he still good? Yes. But part of the reason I think he lasted all season last year was because they made sure to mix in Alexander Madison, and that helped with his durability. Where's his total touches? 264, 249, but that was injury short at 312. He had 300 touches in 2020, and he still missed 2 games. You know, I feel like the Vikings were like, okay, we can't let this guy get hurt again, was their approach. And if you're going to take that approach, then how reliable is he going to be wherever he goes?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm just asking the question out loud.
I don't know. I think Miami is every week when the season starts, the question for Miami is going to be who got hurt this week, especially if they add Cook to the lineup. So it's going to be a big question. I know fantasy wise, after I've had Dalvin Cook on my team, I do not want that again. So
let me ask this question.
Yeah.
Let's imagine that Cook and Tua stay relatively healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say that, let's say they play a minimum of 14 games. They miss no more than 3 games. Okay. If that's the case, how good is Miami this year?
I say they would. Well, if that's the case, I would say they'd finish 3rd in the AFC.
Really?
Yep. I still think the Jets' defense is. I still think the Jets' defense is better than whatever Miami is going to try to do. I'm
still not sold on this Jets thing. I'm sorry. I can't do it. Can't do it. If this team stays healthy, they can win 12 games this year. And I say, oh my God, Bert just said the Dolphins are going to win 12 games. No, he didn't. He said if they can stay healthy, they could win 12. I don't believe they can stay healthy. So I kind of hope he goes to Miami. I really do, because I think that would be a very interesting story. And it's going to make every team, it should make every team in the AFC East go, oh, fuck. But we don't know if that's what's going to happen or not. If he goes to the Broncos, because the AFC West is so bad.
True.
So bad. The Chargers are the little team that should, but doesn't.
You know what? That is an excellent description of them.
There is no reason the Chargers should not win 12 games a year, and yet every season we're like, why are the Chargers only 8-8? Why?
Yep.
Why? The Raiders are so bad. How bad are they? The Raiders are so bad, they're thinking about making Tom Brady an owner, and there's reports that he's doing so because they want him to play. Because he's got this whole, I'd be the only guy who was ever a part owner of a team and played for them. Ha 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 ha. Dude, this ain't the 70s. This ain't when like Pete Rose was managing the Reds and playing first base. You know, he's a player or manager. No, he's not. No, back then, but yeah, now, no, that's how bad the Raiders are. And then there's the Denver Broncos. Next topic.
So as a Chiefs fan, you wouldn't be concerned having Dalvin Cook in your division?
I would, but it's not going to change anything for me. It's not going to change anything for me because those teams are... It's not like he's a missing piece that puts them in the playoffs. You know what I mean? He might be the missing piece who puts a team in the playoffs for a bunch of teams, including, in my opinion, Miami, but not in the AFC West. No chance. That's what you got. So
no, that's true. That is true.
All right, so let's move on to our main topic tonight. We wanted to talk a little bit about the AFC East and the NFC East. We kind of started with the AFC East, so let's go there. Let's start with the Buffalo Bills. So I took the opportunity to listen to the Fantasy Points Town Hall which had John Hansen, Adam. Oh God, why am I blowing names? Adam Kaplan, Brett Whitfield was on it. There's a bunch of guys, and they talked team by team things that they're looking for, and they made some really, really good points. When I say Buffalo Bills, what's the first thing we need to talk about?
Josh Allen's girlfriend.
Josh Allen's girlfriend, because Josh Allen can't seem to get them through the playoffs. Maybe his girlfriend can. Why are we bringing her? Do we know Josh Allen's girlfriend?
I forgot her name, but yeah, I don't know.
Why is she notable? Should I Google her?
You could.
Is she like super hot or something?
Many people think so.
Josh Allen's girlfriend. Images. Oh my God, yes, she's quite an attractive young woman. Oh my God, he is the most awkward looking person in photographs I've ever seen.
He's up there. Yeah.
Wow, okay. Like even when they're like swimming and they're just being like kind of casual, he just looks awkward.
But yes, as far as the Bills go, like I said before, like I don't know who this team is anymore. I feel like they're like a lesser version of the Bills from the 90s who got to the Super Bowl 4 times and then lost. Now they're like getting to the playoffs and losing. So and I just don't know what they like. I don't know what happens to them. I have no idea.
So the only thing, and I'm going to approach it from a fantasy point of view, and this was something they said in the town hall. So obviously Josh Allen's going to go early. He's been the QB1 in fantasy leagues for like 2 of the last 3 years. And depending on your format, it might be 3 of the last 3 years. He's absolutely a stud. But I'm actually, drafting to me is about finding value. Mm-hmm. So if I'm in the 2nd or 3rd round and all the good running backs and wide receivers are gone, or I feel like I've got good balance, yeah, I might look at quarterback that early, but it's unlikely that I'll look for quarterback before he's gone. But one of the guys who I think will still be there and whose ADP is dropping like a freaking rock is Gabe Davis. Now, I know.
You were a Gabe Davis truther last year.
I was a Gabe Davis truther last year, and it did not work out. But his ADP is much lower this year. So let me see if I can find a quick ADP breakdown and see where he's at. There's a bunch of them that do it. Fantasy Pros is a good one.
And a quick side thing concerning fantasy. Just like I have broken up fantasy-wise with Dalvin Cook, I have officially broken up with Stephon Diggs fantasy-wise as well.
Wow.
I've given up. I've had him several times. It's not working out. It's not working out. Well, I realize that maybe I should only keep or draft Vikings like only 1 year and then just never draft them again. No matter where they wind up.
So Gabe Davis is going as wide receiver 41 off the board right now.
Is that with receptions?
1. That's a PPR. Yes. That puts him at about 78 overall according to Fantasy Pros. That is super freaking cheap. Here's just a couple of the names going ahead of him. Jahan Dotson, George Pickens, Kadarius Toney, Treylon Burks. I'll take Gabe Davis, all of those guys. So I think as far as the AFC, as far as Buffalo goes, that's where I'm looking. I'm looking at Gabe Davis. I'm not going to have a ton of Buffalo Bill players this year. I think was it last year? Oh my God, last year was the year I accidentally stacked up on all of them, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Because I had Dawson Knox. I was big on Dawson Knox.
Yep.
I ended up with Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, I think you did have Diggs at one point.
Because I had to trade him. I think I traded him to you.
Probably.
Did you have Diggs last year in the main league?
I don't know. Did I?
I think I did. I think I traded him to you like on week 3 just to try and diversify. And my thought was, when Gabe Davis takes over, this trade's going to look fucking genius. Well, so much for that idea. So I'm really not looking very much at the Bills. Now, we just talked about the Dolphins, but just secondary thoughts on the Dolphins.
Um,
They
I mean,
exist.
they exist. Fantasy. I am not drafting Tua. There's no way. It's too much of a liability fantasy wise.
You have to avoid all the folks who are associated, like
You
Jalen
you
Waddle and Tyreek Hill.
you want to use any of them in best ball? Perfect.
Right.
But season long, I don't think I can do it. I mean, Tyreek Hill, he'll be good. He'll make whoever's a quarterback look good. Is he going to have 200 yards receiving every week? No, but I think Tua for me would just be too much of a risk.
Yeah, I mean the Dolphins are fascinating. I'm gonna have to see how the rest of OTAs work out. I mean Raheem Mostert's there, but he's 100,000 years old. Jeff Wilson is there. He's no better than number 2, which is why this is a perfect landing spot for Cook. But whether or not he goes there, and Jasecki's gone. So, which brings us to where Jasecki went. Jasecki's a Patriot. The Patriots brought back Bill O'Brien. He's going to be calling plays. I don't know how that's going to work. But Damian Harris is gone, and they replaced Damian Harris with James Robinson, which is not exactly an even swap.
Yeah, not doing that again fantasy-wise either. Thanks, Sean.
Is Ramondre Stevenson going to be the real deal this year in New England? I don't feel like I can ever trust a New England running back.
I think right now, he's really all they have.
He is, and he's the 10th running back off the board right now at 28th overall.
I mean, I feel like out of everyone on that offense, he would be the one to take if you had to pick one of them.
I feel like he's like the first guy when you drop off like the big cliff. So I'm just gonna read down the ADP really quick. You tell me where you hear the Price is Right music in your head, and tell me where the cliff is.
Okay.
Christian McCaffrey, a big cliff, cliff.
Okay.
McCaffrey, Eckler, Bijan Robinson, Saquon, Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb, Tony Pollard, Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry. Oh, okay. He paused it for a second.
Okay.
It's you just slid down the Smalling embankment there. You didn't fall off the cliff, right?
No, didn't fall off the cliff.
Okay. So Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, Ramondre Stevenson,
okay,
Breece Hall,
okay,
Najee Harris. The footing's getting a little wicky here.
Who's after that?
I'm double checking my safety gear at this point. Is my rope secure? Do I got my ties in? Travis Etienne. Jahmyr Gibbs.
I don't know. I don't know about him.
Kenneth Walker III, the previous rookie from Seattle,
who also got hurt.
And you still don't think we've fallen off a cliff?
I think once we get to Etienne, then we're probably done.
See, my cliff is Breece Hall. Like, I think you get past Ramondre Stevenson, and you better be watching where you're going to step because you're going to fall right down a mine shaft and meet a Scooby-Doo ghost.
Well, who was after Hall?
Najee Harris.
I would probably stop at Najee Harris.
I think Najee Harris is better than Breece Hall, but ADP disagrees.
Because they don't. I think Pittsburgh is done with him. Like, they just have no use for him anymore. And he's just there because he signed a contract.
Which segues into the last team in the AFC East, the New York Jets. Now, Aaron Rodgers' bet is there, blah, blah, blah. Breece Hall's going to be back, blah, blah. I'm not sold on any of this. I just can't.
Not even on Wilson, the offensive rookie of the year.
What, Garrett Wilson?
Yeah.
I'm not buying the hype. So what I've heard all across a lot of different experts are saying the same thing. Aaron Rodgers is too smart to not throw the ball to the most talented guy. He's made stars his entire career. Look at Sterling Sharp, Donald what's-his-face, because who's that guy?
Driver?
Look at... What's that? Donald Driver, yeah. And just list off all the really good number ones that Aaron Rodgers has thrown to at some point in his career, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, Garrett Wilson's just the next name in a long list. I'm not convinced because Aaron Rodgers doesn't always like who we think he's going to like. And we saw that the last couple of years. Remember like 2 years ago when before Devontae Adams moved, they were like, oh my God, Marquez Valdez-Scantling is going to get a ton more targets. Rodgers is going to love his speed. He dropped one ball in week 2 and Rodgers didn't throw to him again for like 3 games. So
that's
what
true.
Aaron Rodgers does is not always predictable. Aaron Rodgers will throw to who he thinks is going to have the best chance to catch the ball, but it's not always the guy we think it's going to be. And so
True.
I'm not.
Well, then again, it was always Devontae Adams. That was always his first
always
choice.
Devontae Adams. Oh, and then Devontae Adams left, and he was throwing to the other team. So
I don't know. I think he even with his terrible quarterback situation last year, he still had 1,100 yards and 83 receptions and 4 touchdowns. So I think he's worth looking at. Mm-hmm. What round is debatable, but
round is always debatable. I'm not, and I know I have a lot of friends who are Jets fans. A lot of friends. We live in the New York metro area. We know a lot of Jet fans. We know a lot of Giant fans. I can't with the Jets. I just can't. All right, I can't.
Yeah.
All right,
so
anything
really
else
quick
on the AFC East before we go to the NFC?
With the Patriots.
Yeah.
So if I tell you there are 3 right now, anyway, there are 3 starting wide receivers. Would you pick any of them? Kendrick Bourne.
Oh, I didn't even know he was there.
Devontae Parker. And Juju Smith-Schuster.
Schuster, I knew was there. I think the Patriot offense is going to be better. Bill O'Brien is way better as he's one of those guys. Always a coordinator, never a head coach.
Yeah.
And I think we've seen that 3 times now. He was a head coach, then he went to college, then he was a head coach again, and now he's a coordinator. They're gonna be better. And I know Cinch is gonna hate me for saying this. I'm not convinced Mac Jones is a bust. I'm just not convinced of it yet.
He needs to stop tripping people.
Yes, I mean there's a lot of room for improvement, but I'm not ready to label him a bust. I mean,
you're not on the Zap train?
I'm not on the Zap train. And I know that's going to upset Cinch. We're going to get text messages galore tomorrow for him to be like, "Oh, Mac Jones is the devil." Okay, I know that. I know that's he is.
It's because Cinch has been a Patriots fan his whole life, and he's on the edge, and he's looking at that door that says, I forgot what year it was. I'm sure he knows when the Patriots went like 1-15 or 16, whatever it was. And he's trying to not to reach for that door to open it, but he knows it's coming.
And that's the thing. I think, and that's what amazes me about our friend Cinch. I'm going to rant about Cinch for a minute because we love him and he knows we love him. But maybe that'll be the text we get. Oh, you guys love me? That's great. But Cinch is also a Met fan, and Cinch is the Met fan who writes every year is like, we're going to win 100 games this year. And I'm like, 85, 90. No, we're going to win 100 games. He is the eternal optimist when it comes to the Mets, but when the Patriots, he is a realist to the point of almost pessimism.
True.
And it's funny because they're not that different of an organization other than Tom Brady. You know what I mean? Tom Brady brought them multiple championships. The Mets haven't seen a championship in 30 years. I get it. But it blows my mind how he can be so optimistic about the Mets every year, and then we write to him and be like, "Hey, you guys just signed Juju." He goes, "But Jones is still our quarterback. It doesn't fucking matter." Okay. All right.
Yeah. It's really.
All right, let's take a quick look at the NFC East.
Okay. First off, really quick.
Please.
I have a problem with Yahoo Sports News.
It's just one?
Well, right now. On Monday, I'm just going to read you the title of this article. Someone wrote, titled, NFC East named the NFL's #1 division for 2023.
Not a chance in hell.
I'm sorry. How? In what
Not
universe?
Not a chance in hell. Unless the word North is in that, I don't even want to hear it. Because I think the 2 best divisions of football are the NFC North and the AFC North. I mean, if you're talking top to bottom.
And then a quick correction: they're referencing a CBS Sports article, but still.
I don't care if they're referencing Jesus. And yea, he did say from the top of the mount, "Thou shalt love the NFC East like your neighbor." I don't care. Well, end quote before the "I don't care." Jesus obviously cared, but
Yeah.
I don't care. The Northern divisions are the class of the league right now. Competitively, they are deeper. There is more going on there than anywhere else. The worst team in the NFC North is probably more of a contender than the worst team in any other division. And yes, we're talking about the Bears. The Bears, they were talking about this morning on Fantasy Radio too. Freaking Bears wide receiver core. We talked about this last week briefly.
Yeah.
Chase Claypool, Darnell Mooney, and DJ Moore are not terrible. If one of them steps up to be a true number one, and I know a lot of people think DJ Moore is a true number one, and Fields decides he can actually throw the ball instead of scrambling all the time,
Yep.
then this team could actually be better. It could be a 500 team.
It could be.
This could be a team on the way up. It could be.
And
But
Sean
I swear to
Sean
God,
would be happy, maybe.
Sean would be thrilled. I swear to God, everybody thinks that this is what happens in the headset. All right, here's what we're going to do, Justin. Slant 23 right, Zingo, McCarthy. And Fields goes, okay, goes to the huddle and goes, I'm just going to keep the ball to the right on a sweep. I think swear to God, I think that's what people think because that's what they see.
I mean, you did see that a lot last year.
But he had his target. Darnell Mooney was his best target.
Yep.
Chase Claypool was good when he was good, but he was good like 3 plays the entire season.
You just didn't know which.
Yeah, exactly. Good luck picking it. You know, I think there's just a settling period in Chicago, and I think they've reached it. I think things are gonna be better this year. But anyway, we're not talking about the NFC North.
No, we're not.
Talking about the NFC East.
Yes.
And specifically, we're going to start with the Dallas Cowboys, presented by Jimmy Jones. Jimmy Jones.
Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones. Jesus. All right, I've had one beer.
But it was a double.
So it was a double IPA, yes. So I talked to Jerry Jones the other day. By the way, this segment is brought to you by Jerry Jones. If you want Jerry Jones, you've got to come to the source. Jerry Jones is your only true source for Jerry Jones and Jerry Jones related merchandise. Remember, Jerry Jones. So in that conversation, one of the things I think is good is Brian Schottenheimer's there now.
Yes.
And this was something that Adam Kaplan talked about in the town hall. And Schottenheimer is just going to bring stability. Just like the way I think Bill O'Brien's going to bring more stability to the Patriot offense, I think Schottenheimer brings more stability just in general to the Cowboy offense. The fact that they apparently have decided that Zeke Elliott is not the answer, which someone on this podcast has been saying for 2 years. Who was that?
Hello. Me.
It was Craig. Craig has been warning you since the day he came down with COVID. Craig has been saying, I don't know about Zeke anymore. And here we are.
Zeke has no team.
Zeke has no team. Are the Cowboys a playoff team, in my opinion? No. For the Cowboy fans out there, the email is fignutsdfs@gmail.com. I welcome your hatred. Your team is bad and has always been bad and is not going to be better.
I mean, do they have to get rid of Dak next? Like, is that the problem?
I don't think so. I don't think Dak is the problem. And Dak's weapons. So Gallup is healthy, right? For the first time in over a year, we can say definitively Michael Gallup is healthy. CD Lamb is absolutely the real deal. There's somebody else there, and I'm just drawing a complete blank on who it is.
Not Dalton Schultz.
Who the hell is it? There's another big time receiver there. Oh, Brandon Cooks.
Oh, and yes, Mr. Concussion.
Well, yes, but Brandon Cooks, as maligned as we are on Brandon Cooks from a fantasy standpoint, because since he left New Orleans, he's been shit, and that's not an exaggeration. He is consistent. As if he does not have to be the number one, I think he'll be okay. He's going to back up CD Lamb. It's going to be the second. He might even be the third option if Gallup gets off to a hot start. I am fine with it. Most importantly, the third name down on the Cowboys depth chart for running back is Ronald Jones.
Is it?
And we all know that means Sean is excited. So the Cowboys will be fine this year. What, they won like 12 games last year, 13?
Yeah.
They had a really good record, but they weren't a really good team, in my opinion. They were second in the NFC East. Okay. The NFC East is not, again, the NFC East is not as good as people want to believe it is. I think the Cowboys will be okay, and I think they have a lot of fantasy relevance. I think Prescott, Pollard, Lamb, Cooks, and Gallup are all easily draftable. So, your thoughts on the Cowboys?
Yeah, I think so. I've always been a Tony Pollard fan. I guess we're gonna see if he can carry the full workload, because I think that's everyone's question about him since he was splitting time with Zeke. But he got a lot of receptions too. So if you're in a PPR league, that's important.
If he stays healthy, he's fine.
Yeah. Personally, me, out of the 3 receivers, I would probably stay away from Cooks, but that's just me.
Oh yeah, no question.
I mean, out of those 3, you're clearly gonna draft CeeDee Lamb first. And as far as quarterback goes, I'm middle of the road with Dak. I mean, he's there. You can use him as a backup, whatever. Would I want to start him every week? Probably not.
Yeah.
And their defense is good.
They have 3 tight ends in camp, all of which are but watch the 3. I'm going to kill this kid's name. Luke Schoonmaker, Jake Ferguson, and Peyton Hendershot. I don't think any of them are going to be like top 10 tight ends, but at some point, one of them is going to emerge. And my advice to you is grab that guy off of waivers and trade him immediately to the Cowboy fan in your league. Just grab Peyton Hendershot, has 3 receptions and for 25 yards and a touchdown. Go on the wire, get his ass, and trade him for a semi-decent tight end. Speaking of places that could use a semi-decent tight end, let's talk about the New York Giants. Because Darren Waller's there now.
He sure is.
Darren Waller is not the solution.
You know who's there now, too, that I didn't realize? Paris Campbell.
Yeah, also not a solution. I look at this team, and I feel like this is the best second-string team in the league, except they're all playing starters. The second string is starting the game.
Don't tell Sean's wife.
I don't see any fantasy relevance on this team. Saquon, if he actually plays, who the hell knows what's happening there? He hasn't signed his tender, right? Still?
That's right. Yeah. Tyrod Taylor's Daniel Jones' backup.
Daniel Jones. What is it about New York Giant quarterbacks that they have to look confused after every play?
I think it's a requirement. I think they put it in their contract.
Like Eli perpetually look confused. Daniel Jones perpetually looks like you just gave him a math problem he can't solve.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so I'm not going to linger too much on the Giants. I don't really see a lot of fantasy relevance here. I really don't. And you're talking to a guy who was a Daniel Jones truther 2 years ago.
He was.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I guess wait and see what Saquon does out of everyone. But, yeah, I'm not very excited about this lineup. Sterling Shepard's there. Yay.
Now, the Eagles are intriguing to me. We talked a couple weeks ago about the backfield from the Eagles is this hodgepodge of what could have been, right? I think that's why I titled the episode to What Could Have Been.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me get the exact list up so I don't screw this up.
I have it.
Yeah, I want to get it up too, but that's fine. Oh, that sounds terrible. All right. DeAndre Swift.
Yep.
Rashad Penny.
Yep.
Kenneth Gainwell.
Yep.
Austin Scott is still there.
Yep.
And Trey Sermon is there.
Is he? I didn't know he was there.
Yeah, you know what? I had to search it because he's not appearing on the depth chart. But I go to Google and I type in Trey Sermon. And Trey Sermon is an American football running back for the Philadelphia Eagles of the National Football League, is what comes up on my screen.
Huh.
So he's an Eagle.
Yep.
In what must be, honestly, the most crowded backfield in history.
It's up there. I mean, they can't. Boston Scott, his only job is to score touchdowns against the Giants, so they can't get rid of him.
So he's probably going to the practice squad and being called up against the Giants, right? I mean, I can't wait I can't wait in DFS. I can't wait. Eagles versus Giants the first week. Boston Scott is going to go from being $2,500 to being $4K, and I can't wait to laugh as everybody puts money on Boston Scott. Can't wait.
But here's the thing: is like how, injury wise, how long is Rashad Penny going to last?
And I think that's why right now they've got 5 guys on the roster. All of these guys are injury prone.
Yes.
DeAndre Swift, Rashad Penny, Kenny Gainwell, Boston Scott, and Trey Sermon. I mean, one of these guys is going to have to go, right? They're not going to start the season with 5 running backs on the roster.
No, I mean, yeah, they'll probably stick one of them on the practice squad because given everyone's history, I think they need to keep someone else somewhere.
It's got to be Boston Scott, right? I mean, unless Trey Sermon really doesn't have it, and again, that's probably why he doesn't appear on this depth chart, is they want to see what Sermon's got. But there's a good chance one of these 5 guys has to get cut.
Yeah.
There's no way you can stay. They run a 3 wideout offense, which means you need a minimum of 6 wideouts. You can't keep 5 running backs and 6 wideouts. Just can't do it.
The rest of them, of course, like Jalen Hurts is a perfectly, good starting fantasy quarterback. He's not too much with the injuries. I mean, I think he had some issues as rookie, or did he? Or no?
Mm-hmm. Who are we talking about again? Sorry?
Jalen Hurts.
Well, yeah, everybody does. I mean, he got thrown to the fire. He settled in very nice last year. He could make good decision-making. He took this team to the Super Bowl,
Yeah. So AJ Brown is good. I would definitely consider him being a number 1. The other 2 on the team, Devonta Smith, he's really kind of their kind of streak down the sideline guy. So either he's going to get 18 yards or he's going to get 118 yards and 2 touchdowns. So,
and that was my question for you. There are some folks who think Devonta Smith might surpass AJ Brown and become the true number 1 this year. I don't see it.
I don't see it. I think AJ Brown has an overall. I think his talent, his skill set is more an overall number 1 receiver. Devonta Smith, I feel like he's more situational.
Yes.
Really.
You know what? He's the Alvin Harper.
Yeah.
He's the Alvin Harper there, the guy who can streak down the sideline. And yeah, he's only going to catch 2 balls. But he catch 2 for 46 and maybe get a touchdown. But he's gonna keep Michael Irvin from getting double teamed.
Exactly. So I would look at drafting AJ Brown season long and probably Devonta Smith in best ball.
Oh, I'd love Devonta Smith in best ball. The problem is Devonta Smith is getting so much hype right now. He's not going to last. I look at him as the 5th, maybe 6th rounder, like maybe a wide receiver 3 on like a best ball team, and he's not lasting that long because there are so many folks in a Devonta Smith camp right now. It's sickening.
I've done a couple of best ball drafts, so we need to do one. But I've done a couple, and sometimes I can get players I want, and other times I can't because people are literally, and it's not auto draft because it would tell you, people are literally just hitting the person who's next on the list.
Oh yeah, a lot of times people are just going off, and that is why you want to look at ADP changes, but you don't want to rely on them from sites like Yahoo or DraftKings or things like that. Places that let you auto draft, if they're not on auto draft, they're just selecting the next name on the list if they don't know. So don't watch for ADP changes when ADP things move. Like if a guy is running back 15 today and he's running back 12 tomorrow, that means people are paying attention. But if he stays at between 14 and 16, it just means people are mashing the buttons.
Yeah.
It's rare that we don't see some motion.
And then, our league uses tight ends. So how do you feel about Dallas?
About the Dallas tight ends?
No, about Dallas Goedert. Would you want him?
Dallas Goedert's going to be a target. He's going to be the target. I don't think any of the running backs really appeal to Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts is going to be looking downfield first, then going to Dallas Goedert second. And if both those things are gone, he's not worried about where the running back is. His concern about where the running back is the running back going to block for me. So I see if there's Dallas Goedert's going to see a lot of opportunities. And I think, with Hurts being a running quarterback, is not to force it, but Goedert also knows that. And Goedert, it's not unlike Dallas Goedert is a dollar store Travis Kelce. He's gonna get open, and you're gonna get him the ball, and the more often he gets open, the better, because that's gonna keep free safeties in.
Right.
Free safeties are gonna have to wait a step, which means that you're gonna have people blowing. But AJ Brown, Devontae Smith can get downfield because the free safety sees Goddard release from the line, and he gets the yips.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying that is literally the recipe for success that Kansas City has used for the last 5 seasons. The last 5 seasons is make the free safety shit his pants. If the free safety doesn't know where to go, then someone is going to be open. Someone's going to have single coverage, and if you have decent play calling, they're going to be open. Speaking of people who will never be open, the Washington Commanders continue to play football. I don't like any of these guys.
I mean, looking at their offense, if I had to pick people, I'm probably going to look at Brian Robinson or Terry McLaurin. Everybody else, they're there.
We usually carry 3. Our rosters are set up in such a way that we can carry up to 3 quarterbacks. I might take a late round gamble on Sam Howell.
Do you know they have Jacoby Brissett and Jake Fromm?
Because they have no faith that Sam Howell is going to be the starter all year.
It's too bad. Where did Heineke go?
I don't know.
He went somewhere.
This is the sword of Damocles. Every time Sam Howell throws a bad pass, Ron Rivera is going to look at the other quarterbacks and then look at Sam Howell and then look again and just remind him, your job is paper thin, your margin for error. Paper thin. That's it. So and it's Eric Bieniemy. This will be a chance for Bieniemy to see if I'm going to say something terrible. I don't think Bieniemy's a bad offensive coordinator, but I think that a lot of his success is due to the relationship with Andy Reid. I could be wrong, and this is his opportunity to show that we're wrong. But he picked the worst offense to pick that with.
That's true. I mean, if he gets it right and they kind of win, he'll look like a genius. But it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys here. If you told me that McLaurin or Gibson or Robinson or even Dotson or Samuel were going to have a big year, I wouldn't be super shocked, but I need to see it. Yeah. I'm not going to waste picks on them. And these are the guys that I would love for the Commanders to go 0-4 to start and Curtis Samuel to have a total of 2 catches for 12 yards because I can just buy him on the cheap and put him on my bench. And if I'm right, I'm right. And if I'm not, it costs me nothing.
Oh, that's not a bad strategy at all.
So I mean, I can watch the Commanders and hope they start to get better without having to risk any fantasy draft picks on them. I really don't feel like I need to touch the Washington Commanders. What I need you to touch, though, is the buttons on your keyboard and leave us a review. I skipped final thoughts, didn't I?
You're fine. Keep going.
So leave us a review wherever you leave us, whatever podcast directory you have on us. Now we return to our regularly scheduled podcast. You would think after we're almost up to 300 episodes now. What are we at?
Yeah, 273.
You would think I would have the goddamn routine down.
I still forget to.
This isn't hard, Pod Monkey. All right, Craig, what's your final thought for this week?
Yeah, I think what's scary, folks. And I'm gonna tell them a little inside baseball, football.
Okay.
Sean has not done any drafts yet, so that means if you start drafting a best ball draft, you're already ahead of Sean.
I can only assume he's been replaced by a pod person.
I hope so. Because that's weird. It's weird.
This is some body snatcher bullshit. When Sean writes to us in June and he hasn't done and that text message isn't, can you believe someone took Trey Sermon in round 6? That's the text message I expect to see from him in June.
Yes. And he's done none. So
instead, I was like, guys, it's time to start working on our ranking. And she's like, shit, I haven't done a best ball yet.
Yeah,
and Craig and I were both shocked.
Last year, I think he did 10 by now.
Yes. We had 10 angry texts from him saying, why is this person going this high?
Yep.
And a text message for him to explain who Kenny Walker was because he just wrote Walker on a piece of paper in his rankings. And I had no idea who the fuck he was talking about.
There is that.
So we are definitely in preparing mode, folks. It's time to start working on your teams. Contact your commissioners. get in touch with everybody, find out what's going on, because we're probably, season 7 of this podcast is starting in less than a month.
Craziness.
Less than a month. I know. I put together the draft schedule today. I know, because you saw it. And I was like, holy shit. And I do that backwards.
Do you?
I'm like, all right, I want 2 round tables. I need an episode for this, episode for that, blah, 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 blah. And I say, okay, when do I want the last episode in our draft coverage to premiere? And then I date it backwards. And I went, shit, we got to record on July 5th? I'm going to be so fucking hungover.
That's a Wednesday?
July 5th. Yeah, the freaking 4th of July is a Tuesday this year.
Ugh.
Call your bosses in Germany, because I know your company is owned by some German conglomerate. Call your German bosses and tell them you're taking Monday, July 3rd off.
I should check. Maybe we have it off. I'll check.
You
tomorrow.
might. The land of chocolate might have given it to you off already. But that's the first thing I did. When I saw July 4th was on a freaking Tuesday, I was like, I'm taking Monday off, all right, boss? And they were like, yeah. Like 2 days ago, everyone else in my department is like, I'm taking July 3rd. And they're like, sorry, Britt's already got it.
Smart. Good job.
I'm like the only person who's smart enough to look at a calendar and say, shit, I don't want to have to come back for one day. I actually took Monday and Wednesday off that weekend. Now I have a 5-day weekend, and it only cost me 2 days of vacation.
Nice.
So I'm pretty proud of myself there. That was some pretty good planning there. So you know what's good planning? Leaving us a review. We're back to that again. Whatever podcast directory you found us on, they probably have a rating system. We love to find reviews on our podcast. The good, the bad, the ugly. Give us all your information. I just checked the other day. I was like, oh, we haven't had a review in a little while. Sag. Give me your reviews. Also, reach out to us. Now's the perfect time to reach out to us. The best way to reach out to us is via email, fignutsdfs@gmail.com. Cowboy fans, come at me, bro. I'm ready. We're also on Twitter and on Facebook, but honestly, I try to spend as little time on both this time as I possibly can.
Yeah, I agree. So.
Next week, we're going to hit the AFC and NFC North.
Dun, 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 dun.
And we're going to have a lot more. Those are much more intriguing divisions than the East.
Yes, because they're actually competitive.
If we had more episodes available, and again, maybe I'd planned this better, we would probably split them into different episodes, because we could probably spend an entire episode on each one. But we don't. So we're going to have to do the AFC North and the NFC North. Are we going to have enough episodes to do all the divisions?
I don't know. Do some math.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes, we do. We
good.
have just enough.
Perfect.
If we do one geographic direction every week, because we have 3 more weeks before the season premiere.
Okay.
So, maybe we'll just skip
that
the
works
West.
out.
We could or we'll lump them all together. We'll just do the entire AFC. We don't need to spend an entire episode in the AFC South. It's bad. Or the South in general.
So is the NFC South.
Yeah, so
it's like 10 minutes.
So next week we'll do the North, and then we'll do the South/West, and that way we can take a week off before the season 7 debut.
Oh, perfect.
I like this plan. Somebody remind me of it in the morning. Anyway, until we speak with you next, thank you so much for joining us. Leave us a review. We always appreciate your support. Looking forward to an upcoming season of fantasy success. My name is Britt.
I'm Craig.
And we are the Football Fignuts Podcast. Hi, Deb.